Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Hi, everyone. This is Mrudula Gaidhani. I'm the product manager at Microsoft for Entra Permissions Management, and we have Shahar as well.
Hi, everyone. My name is Shahar, and I'm also part of the product management of Microsoft, specifically of Microsoft Defender for Cloud. And we will share with you how Defender for Cloud and Entra Permission Management are actually working side by side.
Thank you. Let me just go ahead and start talking about the multi-cloud adoption challenges. I am the PM product manager at Entra Permissions Management. Permissions Management is a new product which we announced in July 2022. And this is the multi-cloud offering where we support AWS, Azure, as well as GCP. And we wanted to focus mainly on the permission management and how the permission assignments are challenging for the security admins. We have seen lot of organizations. They are moving from enterprise to the enterprise to the cloud, and they have seen that the complete explosion of growth of identities, whether they are human identities or even the non-human identities, which are workload identities. These identities can be identities focusing or representing your IoT devices, your virtual machines, or even your some of the scripts. And suddenly the automation of uh, such kind of scripts and IoTs, and they have increased the number of non-human identities as well as human identities. It is a bit challenging for the security admins to know which permissions should they be assigning. And just not this challenge is not just with the one cloud, but since many organizations right now have adopted multiple cloud strategy, and they have footprint in more than one cloud, and every cloud behaves differently, and every cloud has different permission sets. Even the permission assignment is different between the different clouds. For example, AWS has the permission assignment via policy, whereas Azure GCP has the permission assignment via role. This gets very confusing when you are the security admin or IAM admin trying to control different cloud strategies and cloud trying to control the different permissions. And making sure that you have the zero trust, zero standing privileges for all the identities. Knowing and understanding the risk is very important. Our data suggests that more than 90% of the identities are actually using 5% of permission granted. So how these identities are getting, or how these identities are accumulating these permissions. Many times what happens is either human identities are changing the role, they are moving from different groups, and they still have the permission assigned to them from their past job, and those permissions are never removed. And some of the permissions are the high risk or the delete level permissions. Even for the non-human identity, where the attack surface can be really huge, because they are they tend to be, they don't have the all the guardrails that we see for the human identities, like for example MFA login or the conditional access and so on. So for them, it is very, for those identities, it is very important to have the correct permission assigned, and how to get the visibility that which identity is using which permission, and can we assign the permission exactly what is needed than just because someone is asking for the high risk or high level of permissions, because they don't really know which permissions to be assigned. And more than 50% of the permissions are high risk permissions. And what I mean by high risk here is permissions which can create the damage. For example, there can be a service disruption or the data leakage or even the data deletion, and that can create catastrophic damage. Whether we have intentional bad actor in the play or we have someone who is unintentionally trying to clean up something and trying to check something where their unintentional actions can create the damage as well. And those are the high risk permissions which I'm talking about here. Um, the next thing what I wanted to highlight is that the unmanaged permissions, these unmanaged permissions are actually increasing the attack surface. Normally, permissions are given, permissions granted versus permissions given is considered the permissions given versus permissions granted is considered the permission gap, and that kind of high risk permission is that kind of high permission gap can create a huge attack surface. This permission gap can be created because of the lack of comprehensive visibility into the permission assignment, as well as it can be due to the cloud service providers offering. Many cloud service providers, like whether it is AWS or Azure or GCP, they do come up with new services all the time. And if you are using their permission model, many of these permissions will be automatically granted to you. So new service management will be included in your permission set if you are using, say, the owner role for Azure or the administrator access policy for AWS. And that can lead into the huge attack surface unknowingly as well. And that creates the more complexity between for IAM and security teams to manage. Um, Higher the attack surface, higher the potential breach, whether it is the accidental or the malicious permissions, malicious use of the permissions. And that is where we need to really need the visibility that who's actually using what, and can we go ahead and reduce these permissions. Can we assign the exact permissions needed for these identities and not give them the blanket permissions as these identities really ask for? Many in my experience, what I have seen is customers, whenever they experience such breach, either they have the underlying permissions which were assigned and which were not monitored correctly, or even many times it is just a misconfiguration of the cloud provider, whether the resource was not correctly configured and maybe there was some S3 bucket or the blob storage which didn't have the correct guardrails created, and that is where Entra Permissions Management comes into picture and helps you take control over. I just wanted to highlight that what is the normal permission management or permission assignment in the multi-cloud, and why do we need to have the new model of the permission assignments? So this is the today's static and outdated approach in our opinion. Um, We are granting the permissions based on the job roles and responsibilities. If the developer or if the user is from finance department, then we are giving them the blanket permissions to access certain things. And then these are obviously done by IAM admin and manually permissions are created. And these are never time bound. So what that means is if someone is given the permission, then these permissions stay lifelong unless admin decides to go look at it and start cleaning up. And this creates the permission accumulation for the identities, and that creates the huge attack surface as well. So what are we proposing? Instead of giving the permissions based on the job roles and responsibilities, grant the permissions based on the historical usage and activity. What this identity is really performing, what kind of access does it need? Does it really need the access to certain resources, certain sensitive data? Or can we just give the access pay or the permissions based on the historical activity of this identity? We can go back to 90 days and we can track the activity of these identities, and we can fine tune that what exactly permissions can be given to these identities. Other one is allowing the temporary access to high risk permissions, elevating those identities to the correct permissions or high risk permissions for the short amount of time, so that admins really don't have to worry about going and cleaning up manually once the job is done. If someone wants to elevate themselves to the contributor role and for 4 hours or for 8 hours in the production system, then admins need not have to go and worry about permission revocation after 4 hours or after that time period is done. It will be automatically removed. This strongly goes with the zero trust security model, where we are trying to make sure that we have no zero standing privileges, and it effectively reduces the permission risk as well. And last but not the least is continuously monitoring and right-sizing the identities to prevent the privilege creep. Continuously monitoring and right-sizing is very much needed since identities keep changing their job profile. They might not need all the permissions, or they might need a different set of permissions, and assigning them those work-related permissions so that they can perform their job correctly is achieved by continuously monitoring. This can be done either through continuously generating the reports or even the alerts, where you can go ahead and monitor the identity risk. I wanted to highlight that how Microsoft Security is empowering Zero Trust. And we are making sure that we are supporting different cloud platforms, as well as we understand the customers are or different organizations are embracing different cloud providers. They don't have the footprint only in one single cloud. And that is why we have different product or different solutions. We have the first one, Entra Permissions Management, which we released recently. We have the Azure Active Directory as well as Microsoft Sentinel. I'll I will hand over it to Shahar to confirm or to talk about the Microsoft Defender for Cloud as well.
Thank you, Mrudula. So yes, obviously we will have a deeper dive into Entra in a couple of seconds. But yes, it was important for us to kind of share how we empower zero trust, as Mrudula mentioned, with Entra or with AAD, with Azure Active Directory on the identity and access side. But obviously, cloud security with CSPM, with cloud security posture management, and CASB for app security. And yes, multi-platform, all cloud platforms on Azure, on Google, on AWS, obviously multi-cloud, multi-platform, and that's what we're building. And this is how we're going to provide those capabilities for customers to actually control their environments. I'm trying to click Mrudula, but it doesn't go through. So can you please click on to go to the next slide? It's a great example to how we actually leverage all of those capabilities within a new bundle that we actually released in public preview at the moment. So you can all evaluate it, obviously. The new bundle Defender CSPM basically provides those capabilities of multi-cloud all the way from DevOps environment, DevOps security management, to obviously posture management and protecting your workload in runtime, again, on all platforms that we support, AWS, Azure, GCP. So provide full posture visibility, understanding what do you have with agentless scanning, integrate data and insights from obviously Entra Permission Management, but also from Defender EASM, Defender for DevOps, which is basically a full integration for what we call zero trust from all of those capabilities within Microsoft. Then on top of it, provide contextual risk prioritization. So not just giving you recommendations or telling you something is wrong, but also explaining you why something is potentially at risk, or helping you understand what exactly is the risk within a specific environment. And obviously on top of that, built-in workflows and automated remediation that helps you to scale up and to be able to fix your environment based on the findings that we provide from all of those pillars together. Mrudula, back to you.
Thank you. I want to go back to the Entra Permissions Management and how we help in identifying the permission gaps and how we can go ahead and remediate. Permissions management is the single unified platform which allows you to manage permissions for all identities across all major cloud platforms with granular cross-cloud visibility and a look into your identity's historical data. You can easily access your cloud permission risk and right-size permissions as well. This is really important factor here, in my opinion, because understanding or getting the visibility into the identities, that which identities have access to what, or which identity has performed which action, is very important for the security admins to understand and then get that visibility. Currently, what we have seen is that without this offering, we lack the visibility into the permission usage and who has access to what. It takes a huge effort for the admins to go over the permissions and go over the actual usage, and that we are trying to reduce that effort a big time when you see it through a single pane of glass all the permissions assigned to the identities and how they can be how they are actually using. What is the permission gap here? Is it someone is assigned owner role, but then they are hardly using any of those permissions because probably their roles have changed now? The other important factor is that during the after the visibility, we have to make sure that admins have the ability to go right size these identities and assign the right sized permission and enforce the permission and on demand as well. Right sizing permissions mean that they are given the correct permissions to perform their jobs, and if they need to elevate themselves to the highest permissions, then they can do that using the permission on demand workflow. And this should be an automated workflow where we have where the developer or the user can request for such kind of permissions, whether it is the AWS policy or Azure or GCP role, and then they can elevate themselves for a certain amount of time. And after that time frame is expired, the permissions are revoked. So that gives the admins the comfort that there are no standing permissions, or they don't really have to go and revoke it manually. We do have the ability to give you the different kinds of alerts, whether they are the activity-based alerts or even the machine learning powered alerts, where we can detect the anomalies in the behavior pattern of these identities. So our machine learning models, they go ahead and create the model for each and every identity based on their activities and usage pattern. And if there is any anomaly which is detected, it can send you that. This definitely helps streamlining your threat detection as well as embracing the zero trust strategy and creating the strong security posture as well. I'm just going to go ahead in detail right now and talk about what is the permission management, what it is in the discovery phase. I'll go through the demo as well, so that's why I'll quickly go through the slides so that I can focus more on the demo. How we can get the permission creep index on the console, and then permission creep index is between 0 to 100. Higher the number, higher the risk here. And you can see that there is a heat map which shows you where this particular identity or the subscription has what kind of risk or what kind of permission creep this subscription has. We do have the remediation option as well to create the new roles or policies based on the activity, and then you can go ahead and start assigning these permissions to the end user as well, or even to the group, or even serverless functions or the workload identities as well. Then the monitoring and alert, I already spoke about it at a high level, how we can go ahead and create the triggers, alert triggers, and we have the machine learning based anomalies, and you can customize those alerts as well. So let me just quickly go over the demo first, and then I'll hand it over to Shahar. So this is the Entra Permission Management dashboard. And what you can see here is that I have the dashboard open for the AWS accounts. And I have 3 AWS accounts here, which I have onboarded. And I can see the what is the permission creep index, which is the PCI for these AWS accounts, and what are the identities. There are 51 identities in this particular AWS account, where I can see that there are only 242 low. So we still have to go and look at what all are the different types of permissions assigned to those identities. I can show you Azure as well. So we have only one Azure subscription selected. I can go ahead and select multiple, and then it'll definitely show me multiple subscriptions here. So both of them, they have the higher PCI. So this is the heat map. As you see towards the right side of the screen, then that means that it has the higher PCI, and that is the cause of concern that you can look at it. We do show you the change in the PCI as well. So if there was any drop in the PCI, or there was suddenly there is any spike in the PCI, so that means the permission creep index is changing. And that is the reason. So that is the indicator for the admins to go and look at why there is a change if they are not really working on it. So this will be a good indicator for the admins to look at. We have the different findings. For example, in the identity side, we can see that how many are inactive apps, or how many are super users, and how many are inactive users. So we'll kind of go through those as well. But before that, I just wanted to show you the in-depth how the analytics screen is shown. I have selected 2 Azure subscriptions here, and I can see all my identities here. So right now I have the user, but I can go ahead and select even the managed identities as well. So which all managed identities have access to which roles? I should be able to see them here as well. So right now I have a managed identity which has a reader role, so which is really good. And how is the assignment done? What is the assignment? What is the source? So this is a direct assignment. We can show you whether it is the group-based assignment or PIM eligible assignment as well. You'll be able to see that also. Then who has access to these identities, and how these identities are actually using this as well. So we will be able to see that also. The similar thing can be shown for the resources. I don't have the such resources right now. But then the other one is the apps as well. So which apps has access to what? You'll be able to see that also. So for example, this is my app with the contributor role, and then you can see that they have these many permissions assigned. But this app is hardly using any permissions. Let me show you something where we have the usage. So you can see the used permissions here for this particular app. And the reason, how do we get the used permissions? We go ahead and look at your activity log for that subscription, and then we try to find out that what all are the permissions which are used by this identity. And that is how we come up with the executed, and this is for last 90 days. And you'll be able to see that. And this is the permission creep which I'm talking about, that there are 12,653 which are granted, but only 8 are executed. This is the permission creep which we have to start worrying about. The next thing what we have is the remediation. How can we go ahead and create the custom role We can go ahead and create the custom role based on activity of multiple users. I can go ahead and select multiple users, and if they have the common job to do, if they are part of the same team, then I want them to give I want all of them to have the same access. Then I can go ahead and select those, and then you can see that these are the permissions, cumulative permissions for those users which I received. This is the suggestion I'm getting from the product, saying that you should create a custom role with these selected tasks. Now, as an admin, I can go ahead and look at it. If I see something which I really don't want them to use, I can go ahead and remove it. If I don't want them to go ahead and play with the cognitive services, then I can just go ahead and remove that using just the minus button from here. Or I can explicitly add something like if I think that they might need the access to Dell storage, then I can definitely go ahead and add it. So I can customize this role from here, and then either we can submit the role directly from here for creation, or I can download the JSON file and upload it by myself and create the custom role. Let's go ahead with the permission on demand as well. I just wanted to quickly show you that. So that how end users can come in and they can request for the permissions. Let me take the example of, say, AWS, and if I have the permissions, how can I elevate permissions? So one thing is that I can do it on behalf of me or for myself, or I can just do it on behalf of someone else. I'm just going to pick some user who's going to be using this permissions. Probably he or she doesn't have the access to go ahead and request it. So I can go ahead and request it for that user, or even the non-human identity as well. In case of Azure, I can go ahead and start picking the enterprise application. So if I want to elevate the permissions of the application for, say, 4 hours to perform some job, then I can go ahead and request on behalf of the app. And then I can request a particular role, which I will be able to see it here. And if I want, I can go and search as well. So let me just pick arc delete and then next, and then I can say that when do I want it? Do I need it right now? Do I probably have some production issue to go ahead and fix it? Then I can go ahead and request it for right away, or I can say, oh, I need the say tomorrow, which is Friday morning 8:30 for 4 hours to perform some maintenance job, and I can request it to have the permissions assigned for me or for that particular identity at a particular date and time for 4 hours. And this will go through the approval workflow as well, so that the admins get a chance to approve. They can review your request and then they can go ahead and approve that request. Last, I just want to show you the different reports. So we have different system reports, but one important report which I want to show you is the permission analytics report, where you will be able to see all the different inactive identities or inactive service principal and what kind of permissions have been assigned and what is their permission creep index. So higher the PCI, higher the risk. So that means you can start looking at those identities with the high PCI to start remediating as well. So this gives you the nice indicator that which all identities you should go ahead and start looking at it to start remediation as well. We do have the remediation. I didn't really go over that, but we do have the remediations here. Under the permissions tab, you can go and change as well. So I can click on the user and then I can revoke the unused task, revoke the high-risk task, and I can go ahead and perform these actions as well. So before I go further, the last one is the alerts. As I had just told you before, that we have the activity-based alerts, rule-based alerts, statistical anomaly, which are the alerts related to the machine learning models, and you will be able to see those as well. So let me hand over to Shahar for the next one. So Shahar, let me know if you can take over.
So awesome. So yes, thank you, Mrudula. So lots of capabilities, and Entra is finally live, which means that Mrudula will share with you how you can actually evaluate it and see those capabilities on your specific environment. But obviously, as we have Entra live, we wanted to integrate it into Microsoft Defender for Cloud to be able to show and provide one place that customers can actually go into, see what exactly is happening, not just in terms of their cloud posture, but also in terms of their identities and permissions and things like that. So Mrudula, can you see my screen now that I'm sharing?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So here we are in Microsoft Defender for Cloud and the overview blade. What we want to show you is kind of the first integration that we have with Entra. So when we do have customers that have both products running, MDC, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and Entra Permission Management, we would like to start integrating both of them and provide insights to those amazing capabilities as part of what you're looking into at Microsoft Defender for Cloud. So first thing we did in terms of security posture, we provide a new tile at the top of the screen showing you what is the status of your Entra Permission Management is. Basically, it means that customers that onboarded MDC and Entra basically are going to get information on subscriptions, accounts, or projects that have onboarded within Entra and MDC and having the PCI, the permission creep index calculation, as part of their visibility within MDC. So you can see a quick overview of what the permissions are, but if I drill down into the actual recommendations, I can see here all the recommendations that actually includes, let me just find them, as part of best practices. You will be able to see that you have over-permissioned identities in accounts, if it's AWS or if it's subscriptions, if it's in Azure, or obviously projects if it's in GCP. Once you go into the actual recommendation, then you get all the information on each one of the subscriptions within the recommendation itself. So in this case, we can see that we have one of the accounts that we have onboarded with 75 in permission creep index, which means that it's high severity, which should be taken into consideration, and maybe there are remediation steps that are actually being forwarded into the Entra Permission Management portal. So we provided that information today within MDC, and obviously with the future comes we would love to have more and more capabilities within MDC. So extracting more data from Entra and providing one glass pane that helps you understand what are the risks that they have in the environment, but also how you can actually remediate and handle those risks. So for those of you who would onboard Entra, even for a trial, and onboard subscriptions that you have in MDC or accounts or projects, you already will be able to see that information and those calculations of PCIs within MDC. Now, Mrudula, can you bring the presentation back on, please? Awesome, thank you. I'll just take control. Hopefully I have control now. Let's see. Doesn't seem like I have control over the deck. So we saw the demo, and yes, awesome. So again, just to kind of understand that we saw a lot with what Mrudula actually showed us, but just to make sure everyone understands that eventually when we talk about KEEM solutions, the goal is to provide some sort of a collection of data and generate analytics based on that. And again, AWS, Azure, GCP, in any cloud platform, and then create the permission creep index for each one of those. The score reflects the risk, and obviously based on that, the higher the PCI is, the higher the risk is, which is reflected within MDC. In MDC, we actually, and Mrudula, can you jump one slide? Sorry, the control doesn't work. So as I mentioned, we integrated those into recommendations. So we have 3 recommendations, 1 per cloud platform, 1 for AWS, 1 for Azure, and 1 for GCP. And each one of those includes the subscription accounts or projects with their PCI score for each one of those. And again, based on the PCI score, we also reflect the severity, the range, if it's high, medium, or low, based on the ranges that you see here that are being calculated by Entra Permission Management and basically being extracted and showed within MDC. And yes, I still don't have control. So Mrudula, can you jump to the next slide, please? And yes, so that's actually how Entra integrates into MDC today. Before I move back to Mrudula, I just want to say that we have a lot planned for Entra to integrate into MDC, a lot that is coming in the future, which hopefully we'll be able to share very soon. Lots of capabilities, lots of insights on identities and permissions, and not just the PCI calculation, which is big, but not just that, a lot is coming in the future. So please go ahead and evaluate the products, onboard both of them if you didn't, and obviously please provide any feedback and we'll be happy to share more information in the near future. Mrudula, back to you.
Yep, thank you. So for Microsoft Entra Permissions Management, we do have the 90-day free trial available as well. You can go ahead and type this link, aka.ms/try permissions management. We will send out this link in the chat as well so that everyone has the easy access to the link. It'll give you, this link will give you the information how to enable the trial and what is our licensing mechanism, as well as how do we, what is the cost as well. So you'll be able to see all that in there also. If we have any questions, we can definitely take those questions now.
Yes, we have a few questions. One moment. Okay, so the first question is, what is the difference between PIM and permission on demand?
So PIM is how you can get the eligible role. So you will already, you'll go through the approval process and get the PIM role available for you. Permission demand, it works a little bit differently than PIM. PIM is there always for you to go check out and use it, whereas for the permission on demand, you don't have that capability, you don't have that role available for you to go ahead and check out. So that is what the permission on demand comes into picture. And permission on demand right now does support multi-cloud as well. And we will be very soon have a cohesive solution between PIM and POD and cover all the aspects of the permissions request and permission assignments as well. Any other question, Ashley?
Yes, so the next question, for alerts, are these documented?
We do have the best practices for sure. We will get that one out very soon also for the alerts. And I did see there was some question about the Sentinel integration in regards to that also. We are working with Sentinel team to integrate it. So we just released the product in GA. We just went GA in July. So we have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of integrations to perform. MDC Defender for Cloud is one of the top integrations which we covered recently, which we achieved that. We will be working with, we will have different integrations with Microsoft services coming up soon.
Okay, and for permissions management, what subscription sets is it included in?
I really didn't understand that question. Is it the permissions, subscriptions? Are we talking about the licenses? If that is the question, then we have a different licensing model for permission management, and you can find that information on the Try Permissions Management link. We have the resource-based billing, and the details will be covered there.
Okay. 1 second, let me look at the rest of the questions here. Yes, and it looks like it was the question, what are the licensing requirements? Let me see if there's any other questions. Can we have SaaS applications on Entra PM?
We don't support the SaaS applications yet.
Okay.
It will be in the future roadmap, but not right now.
Okay. So it looks like we have answered all of the questions. So thank you to our presenters for an excellent presentation today, and thank you to the rest of the team who helped answer questions. Once again, I would like to remind the listeners that the best way to ensure you don't miss any future webinars or major announcements is to visit our landing page at aka.ms/securitycommunity. And while there, you'll find easy ways to navigate and find the resources and learning content relevant to our security products and their communities. A good start would be browsing our bite-sized product videos, ninja trainings, recordings of past webinars, GitHub communities, and more. We'd love to hear your feedback on how we can improve these webinars. Please take a minute submitting your webinar feedback at aka.ms/security webinar feedback. Thank you, and see you next time. Goodbye.